Welcome to Corner of the Galaxy, the show that talks 100% LA Galaxy soccer. We're glad you could join us. Now it's time to sit back and relax as your hosts navigate through the twisting, turning, but never boring world of the five-time MLS Cup champion, LA Galaxy.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Corner of the Galaxy on cornerofthegalaxy.com. I'm your host, Josh Guesman, coming to you on Thursday, August 29th from COG Studios. Getting ready for the LA Galaxy Sunday matchup with the Seattle Sounders and a stretch of 5 weeks that will see the LA Galaxy play 7 games and close out the regular season. A lot of stuff to get to. The Seattle game, very important, going to be a highlight and key to our second half here. Also want to get you over the MLS Cup Playoff schedule that is coming up as well, that has been released, so we'll talk a little bit about that and get you through some LA Galaxy news as well. Also, a little updates from training as well. Media Day isn't going to be until Friday, so actually the day after this show is, of course, done. But we will get you as many updates as we're able to glean from the LA Galaxy's training on Thursday and get you ready for that game on Sunday. All right, to help me in all of our wonderful progressions here, and a guy who needs really no introduction, but we give him one every week anyway. Please welcome back to Corner of the Galaxy Studios, Eric, the Portuguese Hammer Vieira. Eric, what's up, buddy?
It's good to be back. Vamos Galaxy!
Yeah,
I think that's what you're supposed to say.
That's what you're supposed to say?
You're supposed to say the other club.
Woo!
Yeah.
Go. Okay.
Yeah, there may have been a video with LA Times where someone messed that up and ended up saying a different team.
The best
part to be Vamos Galaxy, and that's it.
Yeah. The best part about that, and you were right, was the pause, though. The pause when she realized, and if you haven't seen it floating around Twitter, I don't know what to tell you. I don't have it here, and we didn't put it, but it was an LAFC fan who was telling everybody how much LAFC she was and who was going to win, and then she said that the Galaxy, it seemed like in the back of her head it was always the Galaxy, and so it was a fun little mess up. What did you think of El Trafico version 5.0?
Jumping right into it?
Why not? I've talked about it.
I laughed. I cried. It was the game really had everything. It was one amazing start. 2 goals by Zlatan. Pavone getting in on the action. I thought at 3-1. I was very proud of my prediction on Thursday prior, saying this could be the Pavone game, and it looked like it might be shaping up to be. But then just some defensive lapses, some lucky bounces for LAFC. I think the goal before the half was a killer.
Right.
I think that made a huge difference because it wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when LAFC was going to score again. So then once they tied it up, then it looked like they were going to get number 4, and it was inevitable that the Galaxy were going to lose. Second half letdown. They looked dead tired in the second half. So they should have won. They should have lost. So a draw seems fair.
The draw seems fair.
So it seems like, I'm upset that they couldn't hold on to the win.
Right.
But at the same time, if you called me in advance, said, we're going to give you a tie, we're going to give you 1 point coming out of that, I would have taken it.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with the result looking back on it. But in the moment, I was like, we almost had it. We could have taken 3 points away at their house. That would have been really, really special.
Would have been a lot of fun. Yeah. It also would have helped the LA Galaxy. I mean, again, and I sort of said it on Monday's podcast with Panda, by the way. You should check that podcast out, by the way.
Good stuff from the Panda.
There was a lot of positivity, and quite honestly, I agreed with a lot of what he said, which sometimes is difficult. But no, he was right. But anyway, I said it is that point that the Galaxy got is really a point that nobody else in the Western Conference has gotten, not yet, because no Western Conference team has taken a point away from LAFC at Bank of California Stadium. So that is a point that, if that trend continues throughout the rest of the season, means the Galaxy got one more point than anybody else did in that particular place. So it is a chance to actually, it's a separation point at this particular point in time, I should say.
Yeah.
The other funny thing I should point out is that your wife was Instagramming you pacing during the game.
I saw that. And I made sure not to repost. That was not a flattering video.
It was not. Yeah, no, you were angry.
Yeah,
I was
she
like,
snuck up on me, and that was when we were winning.
Yes, exactly. And
I was just, I did not sit down that entire first half. I was watching the game, standing in my living room. I said I wasn't going to go to the game because my kids had school the next day, so we had to do bedtime routine. And I said, you know what, forget it. My wife took care of it. and let me watch the game. So it really didn't make a difference, but she made sure to sneak some video. So if you happen to randomly follow my wife, you got to see it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not releasing the tapes.
Yeah, you're not. I was going to say, I have that video here. No, I don't.
Okay.
But the best part was that at the end of that video, you pick up your phone and you start texting. and I wrote to your wife, I'm like, he was texting me. And she was like, absolutely.
Yeah, texting or tweeting. Yeah, that's definitely what was happening.
That's what was going on. So it was fun. So yeah, some interesting takeaways certainly from that LAFC game. I agree on the tiredness in the second half. Everybody was exhausted. Lots of questions sort of surrounding the LA Galaxy's fitness. I think we'll get to some of those questions. I have a Reddit list of questions.
Okay.
I let Reddit ask me questions.
I have some notes too.
Okay, good.
About that. Yeah. So we'll circle back.
We can circle back. That's fine. So we have a whole bunch of questions on there, and we'll try to get to some of those as well. The LA Galaxy, like we said, getting ready for a Sunday game, a game at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time. This game at CenturyLink Field in Seattle. So I know there are some people who are traveling up. It's also over a holiday weekend, so you could go to the Sunday game. You had Monday off.
Could do a lot worse than a trip to Seattle on Labor Day.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably cooler up there than it is down here right now if you think that it's hot down here right now. I don't know that it's necessarily. We just
warmish.
The place I moved into doesn't have air conditioning, so I feel like everything is warmer.
You have skewed data.
I do. It's like, whoa, global warming's real, guys. Just wanted to let you know. I can tell from my bedroom. So it would be a good trip to go to. But the interesting thing here is I mentioned it at the kickoff. 5 weeks really left in the season, 7 games to play, but the Galaxy will play on Sunday and then have an 11-day break basically or 10-day break until they play again on Wednesday, September 11th in Colorado. There's some international games going on there as well, so we will talk about the call-ups that have everybody sort of, freaking out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting just with the news that came out about the call-ups and you hearing about other clubs that did not release players. And so, when you say, well, we have players, we're making a playoff run as well. So it's interesting, just the news and how that works out with the timing. I will say this, with MLS scheduling, it seems like with international breaks around the world, that the players don't miss their club games. The games, they separate the schedule so that they are back with their teams and essentially playing when the next league match is available. And it seems like it happened with the Gold Cup, and it's happening now that the schedule isn't quite in line with that break where they have games scheduled right up after those international dates, when maybe there should be a little bit of a buffer to allow those players who do get called up to duty to be back and perform with the team, because potentially the players who are getting called up are the players of value that you're going to need on those squads.
Well, the crazy thing is that there are 5 LA Galaxy players who have been called up for international duty. That includes Sebastian Lletget, Jonathan Dos Santos, Uriel Antuna, Rolf Felcher, and Giancarlo Gonzalez. I think, as somebody said, it was a good thing that Christian Pavón has not quite gotten back to starting again and wouldn't be down with Argentina.
They must not have watched that game.
Yeah, it's good. That's good. I think the Galaxy fans are all jumping up and down about that. So there are 5 players. Now, I think if I'm correct, Giancarlo Gonzalez they're only playing one game during that separation, so he should be back. And really, it's the people are going to depart right after the Sunday game, and then they're supposed to be back or their last game is on the 10th, with a game then on the 11th coming up for the Galaxy against Colorado. So that's sort of the issue. Now, I'll tell you a bunch of things. Greg Berhalter is very well aware of what is going on the U.S. men's national team. I would imagine that Tata Martino over in Mexico is also very aware of what is going on and, those things. I don't know how that's going to play out, but certainly when you look at this, most of these guys are playing 2 games. There's a good possibility that guys will play in a first game and then come home for that and not play in the second game, or be limited so much in minutes that they're going to come in and they'll be available and play the next day basically as well.
Yeah, and again, this isn't a competition. These are friendlies that are happening. So you're not getting players if you are Greg Berhalter or Tata Martino, you maybe are running one squad during one game and a completely different squad for the second game. So essentially, you're not going to be seeing players go full 90s 2 games in a row. You're probably going to get some type of mixed minute situation for all of the squads. We don't have anyone going on European duty where they have qualifiers where they're competitive matches. These are friendlies. So that's the one positive, is if we are missing these players, it's to friendlies where they're probably not going to get run out there. Rolf Felcher, I know when he was gone for Copa America, he didn't see a single minute.
He was also quote unquote injured during that time.
He might just go to Venezuela and hang out in the hot tub and the ice bath and then come back refreshed. So that might not be a big hit.
Yeah. It's again, and you look at that. So Giancarlo Gonzalez should be back for that game. I would imagine that Sebastian Lletget either has his minutes limited in that second game for the United States, and then he was able to play the next day as well. Now he may not start that game, but he could be coming off the bench for that. So I know everybody freaks out about it, and you should. And there's a real reason that you should be upset about this if and it's not about club over country right now. These are friendlies versus a playoff race. Greg Berhalter was talking about how Toronto players didn't get called up, Josie Altidore and Michael Bradley, because of they also played
and Omar Gonzalez.
That's right.
If you consider him to be worthy of being called up, but that's a different podcast.
Somebody was talking about Toronto playing 8 games, I think, during that stretch of like the next month. So they have in 4 weeks they play 8 games, so they are even more stretched than the Galaxy are going to be. But at the same time, how can you sit there and play favorites with that then?
Yeah. Well,
it's also go ahead.
You ready for me to argue both sides?
Yes, I'm ready for you.
Josie Altidore, Michael Bradley,
right.
Omar Gonzalez. You know where they stand on the national team picture potentially. Sebastian Lletget is someone who may be on the fringes.
Right.
So he's not going to be you don't want him turning away a national team call-up that can put potential future call-ups in jeopardy. He's someone who needs those reps. He needs those opportunities with the national team. So that's the argument for Sebastian Lletget is, we don't know what his timeline is and where he really stands with the national team. So if he gets a call-up and is able to impress Greg Berhalter during some of these friendlies, that's important for him as an international. So I can understand that.
And that's the other thing. People are saying,
same with Antuna. Same argument.
Yeah, same with quite honestly, same with Jonathan Dos Santos. I mean, he is a staple now for that team, but he still needs to prove to Tata Martino that he's the starter there. Because Mexico has a talented lineup, and he played great in the Gold Cup and all this, but now he needs to reinforce it.
I feel like he's more solid, but
he is.
But you're right. That's fair.
The other thing is, don't be mad at the players. I know there are people who are like, they should turn down these call-ups. And it's like, listen, these guys are trying to play at a national team level, which is like the dream of any soccer player. That's what you want to do. The club stuff, there are goals within that, and certainly that's how you can make a living. But you're immortalized on the national teams. I mean, this is where if you make a national team appearance and you do well, you're known worldwide. It can help your club career. It can do all these things. So don't be mad at that. And the other thing is that people are saying, why don't they turn it down? That's why they're not going to turn it down, and they shouldn't. And they shouldn't be put in that position to begin with. The other part of that is people are saying, well, why didn't the LA Galaxy tell them that, hey, no, you can't have our players? And the bottom line is that they can't.
It's not their call to make.
It's a FIFA date.
Yeah.
So during a FIFA date, clubs are required to release their players during official FIFA dates. So
that's where they tell the team, we were on a break. We were on a break. That was the deal.
There was I just saw some trash opinion on Twitter just before, and it got me all riled up. It was like, hey, Friends' 25th anniversary is coming up, and just a reminder that show was crap to begin with. And I'm like,
incorrect.
I'm like, come on. I go, it was a different time, certainly.
Yeah, you can't judge it by today's standards.
You can't judge it by today's standards. You got to go back and look at it. I mean, there's some things there you sort of cringe. You're like, okay, but again, 25 years ago, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. Okay.
So we were on an international break.
We were on an international break. That's right. That's how it works. So that's where you look at those 5 players. Again, it looks like Giancarlo Gonzalez will be back and not impacted by that. But when you're looking at this, I mean, Uriel Antuna may be not a starter right now. He may be a bench player, but he's an important piece to that bench if you're playing it that way. And so to see all those guys, if the Galaxy had to play a game missing all 5 of those guys, it's advantage Colorado in this particular case.
Imagine that. We lose to them at home and then go away to Colorado with the depleted roster. And I believe Galaxy were without Zlatan.
Yes.
Right? That was during
because when
New
he got
York
suspended.
Suspension.
Yes.
So Colorado getting all the lucky bounces against the Galaxy.
They need something. They got the plague out there. They got they got all sorts of bad things going on. The altitude. I mean, that's a tough game. We're going to talk a little bit about the strength of schedule for the LA Galaxy and sort of where they rank. And just FYI, it's not great if you're thinking about that. But I also think that there's some factors in there that we can sort of talk our way around as well. So we'll make sure that we do that. But again, the international players called up. That's good for them. Those are all positives for the most part. You just got to watch how many minutes everybody. I mean, you're going to watch the USA-Mexico game, and you're going to be like, okay, nobody get hurt.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be like, okay, now limit minutes. Let's see sort of where that looks like.
That's actually the only one that scares me out of all of the fixtures, just because, again, rivalry game, you throw everything out the window. You can say it's a friendly. You can say
there's no friendly.
You can say you're just testing out squads, but at the end of the day, these are 2 teams that are always going to be competitive with each other. So I would say that's one concern, but I believe that's the first match
It is.
Of the two.
Of the two, yeah. So, and I don't remember who. I think that the United States plays Uruguay as the second match. I didn't see who Mexico did, and it's been a crazy week. So, forgive me for not knowing all of them. I'll go fight all of the schedules and tell you all the games that are going to be played. So that way you can go out and watch them. I'm sure that there's an answer out there. In fact, I might even have it in a press release if I really look hard enough, which I'll do whenever I make Eric talk for a little while.
I was say, or you can keep talking, and I can find out for you.
No, because
they play Argentina.
They play. Mexico plays Argentina.
Yeah. So USA Mexico on the 6th, and
Mm-hmm.
then Argentina Mexico on September 10th.
All right, now where does Rolf Felcher play? Venezuela.
Plays Venezuela versus. There was two flags that looked similar. Venezuela versus Colombia.
Oh, yeah, nice.
There you go. Well done.
Way to pull that out.
That's where your flag geography that comes in handy. It's all these years of FIFA learning all these countries' flags.
Yeah, that's certainly one of them. Let's see. Yeah, you're okay. So United States versus Mexico, United States versus Paraguay, Mexico versus Uruguay. Sorry.
Yep.
Mexico versus USA, Mexico versus Argentina, Venezuela versus Colombia, and that one is just one. So it's Tuesday, September 10th. So again,
and then Giancarlo gets Uruguay on the first one.
Yeah, on the September 6th
Costa
date.
Rica, Uruguay.
So Venezuela. So Rolf Felcher. I mean, here's the deal: that game's being played in Florida. So if he doesn't play. Well, it's the same thing like I said with Sebastian Lletget, is I think they're playing in St. Louis, right? And so getting down to St. Louis, to Colorado, that's not a trip.
Yeah.
He can be on a plane and do that. So, again, calm down. There were a lot of hot takes. My favorite hot take was my own, however, which is, it was all about Greg Berhalter and choosing not to call up some of those guys, and you're right. But I'm saying, well, then why doesn't every Western Conference team – it's basically the entire Western Conference is involved in a playoff race right now that's separated by like 4 points. So – any team missing any player or any injury knocked is going to have an effect and a ripple effect on that team going forward. So these games, these international breaks do matter. You should watch them. But, this is all about MLS and the scheduling. And they tried to take care of the scheduling issues they had at the end of the year, which was always that the playoffs got derailed by the international breaks, right? And so we all knew there was like a week international break right in the middle of the playoffs. And it was like,
where it hurt the most was last season between the conference final and MLS Cup. There was a huge break, and it just threw a huge wrench in the momentum. Yeah,
because it's like, oh wait, that game's being played in December, right. MLS Cup. Are we still? Is it still playing?
Is the season still going? Especially when you're trying to bring in neutrals. Obviously, the two fan bases are going to be involved. But you want the whole country watching.
Now, I'll tell you for next year, and by the way, I don't think this is going to matter for next year. I actually think there's going to be a work stoppage, and so it won't start on time. But next year, the season's supposed to start, I think, 2 weeks earlier than it did this time. So you're going to take the compressed schedule, and you're going to take away 2 of those midweek games probably that expand that out. The other thing is that there was a large international break in the summer for Gold Cup.
Did they count? They technically didn't call it because of women's
right,
World
but
Cup.
there was,
it was during that time.
There was Copa America. It was all the major tournaments were being sort of played at that time, and so there was, a 3-week break, I think? And
it was a long break. And so the question is, do they stop because there's the European Championships next summer? Do they build in a break for those European Championships, or is that really... Do you have tons of players who are really involved in that tournament, so does it really matter to take a break?
Well, and the other side of this is that, okay, now you sort of know. You've seen how many internationals, and I've talked about this before, you've seen how many internationals are on this LA Galaxy roster. Eventually, you have to realize who are the national team players and who are going to get called up consistently for the national team, and realize you're not going to have and you're not going to have those guys. So, Dennis DeClosa, for all the great he's done, I think he's relied too much on international stars because he's been able to find the slots for it, and that's understandable. That's not a. It's a roster building thing more than anything.
Well, and it's talent available. If you can bring in someone who has talent, regardless if they're national, if they're domestic, you bring in the best possible player that you could bring in. Right. Eventually, you're going to need to fall into the roster rules and make the pieces fit in the puzzle. But if you have the resources available and you're able to buy international slots and make it work, and you're able to bring a player of value, then I'm all for that. So you can't knock Dennis DeClosa for doing that.
Well, but now you can, because he has 5 internationals and possibly 6 whenever Pavone gets back onto things, right?
Okay.
Because if you feel like he's going to be the world beater that he is, he's going to get called up. So now you have 6 internationals that are you have to plan for that.
Well, for next season. I think for this season, it was just a matter of getting the most talent available to make the playoffs.
Yeah. Sure.
Isn't that the goal? Isn't that what we're trying to do here?
I don't know anymore. I just think that this could be a hiccup. You have to go. I mean, Bruce was good at this. He knew who the international players were in terms of or who the national team players were, and was able to sort of build a roster that was deep enough to be able to support those absences whenever they were gone. But it always feels cheap to me that MLS, and there is a choice in here, and I want people to understand there is some flexibility within the MLS teams to play or not play during the international break. But if you choose to not play during the international break, that means you get condensed somewhere else.
It's going to hit you somewhere. And
this condensed schedule now, you could be like Toronto. Toronto has the Canadian Championship in there as well. So this condensed sort of schedule, it gets more condensed if you choose to not play during these. And the other interesting thing is the LA Galaxy actually were scheduled this game originally to be played on the 12th, and they moved it back.
Oh, that's interesting.
To the 11th.
Well, I think the Colorado game was moved last year as well when it was at home.
Yeah.
And something about Colorado and the Galaxy, they never stick to their date.
It's the plague.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's what it was. It was it messes everything up. So anyway, that's sort of all the international drama that is circulating around. I'll tell you, MLS tried to fix something and they condensed things, and it's probably too condensed this year. They're gonna have a problem as we look at the MLS Cup playoffs. They have a bunch of midweek games. And we all know that midweek games and stadiums don't draw. I know it's the playoffs. Listen, I know that if you're in LA and the Galaxy are playing a midweek game and they're hosting it, that there's going to be 17 to 18,000 people at that game.
A playoff game?
Playoff game.
You think so?
In the midweek.
The Thursday night.
Like a Thursday night or
Dignity
Wednesday
Health Sports Park.
Yes.
Galaxy are in a conference semifinal. You don't think they draw 22,000 plus?
I think that you're right around 20 at your max. All right. Now, if you do that during the weekend and it's played on a Saturday, that's a sellout.
That's a different matter. Yeah.
It's at 27,000, and they probably have standing room only.
You ready for me to put my Don Garber hat on?
Yes.
You know why it doesn't matter?
Yes.
They don't care about it in the stadium. They
there
care
you go.
about TV.
There you
and
go.
There are going to be more eyeballs on those playoff matches midweek than there would be on a weekend.
Yeah.
Just more people are going to be home and watching that game, and you're going to get better ratings on a midweek game than you would on a Saturday. It can be the marquee matchup of the year, but if it's a early playoff round on a Saturday or a Sunday, you're not going to get as many eyeballs as you would midweek at night in the evening.
It's interesting.
Again,
you're talking about TV.
I get where they're going with it. I don't like it, but that's the rationale.
You're talking about TV, and the LAFC LA Galaxy game drew one of the highest ratings of any Major League Soccer game this year, I think.
Yeah, and why? Because it was evening on Sunday. What else were people doing? If you're an MLS diehard on the East Coast, you're watching it because you're not going to work. You're not you're not going out that night. You're home watching that game. If you're in LA, it's on primetime Sunday night football, something that's wildly popular. So it was essentially Sunday night football there, and everyone enjoyed it. So it does not surprise me. Again, we squawked and we're upset at that start time, but that's why. That's exactly why.
It always made sense nationally television. Yeah. Although I still think that you would do better if you started that game a couple hours earlier, just in terms of the TV ratings, because you would still have the TV ratings on the West Coast, and you would pick up more East Coast than you probably got.
Fair.
The other side of this is that, and I don't know how much of this is hyperbole. I see it, but I'm here. I'm in Los Angeles. I'm in this area. I understand what the games between LA Galaxy and LAFC mean, and how it has changed the feeling in the entire Southern California basin whenever these two teams play. But people are starting to talk about this rivalry as being bigger than Major League Soccer, and it's like a global rivalry, although I think that global tag comes mostly from everybody knowing who the LA Galaxy are.
Well, and it also comes from who's playing in these games. It happened when Beckham was here, and it's happening now that Zlatan is here. When he scores a highlight reel goal, that's something that's picked up on Sky Sports, and it's picked up around the world and gets millions of YouTube clicks. So when you have a franchise like the LA Galaxy and a star like Zlatan Ibrahimovic, then of course that's going to draw the global attention. So I don't think it's hyperbole to say it's on the global stage. Maybe LAFC doesn't have the name recognition. I think there were some outlets that looked at the tifo at their end and said, "Look at this LA Galaxy fan set up this tifo."
Yeah.
So obviously,
there's still a lot of that.
Yeah, LAFC doesn't have that recognition, but it is something that's on the radar. And I mentioned it last week. To me, it's a huge rivalry in the MLS. The MLS.
Out.
Minus points. Minus Audi index points.
You're done.
Yeah.
Is
there a sound drop for that? Is that
there was. I was kind of looking for the
hold on
air
horn.
Just keep.
And that it's one of the biggest rivalries in.
Nope. Still don't have it.
But basically, it is one of the best rivalries in the league. There we go. Negative points.
Wow.
And I said, because we live here, we feel it, we know it. So other fan bases around the country say it's not a real rivalry. It's too young. It doesn't matter how young it was. This thing came in hot first meeting, and it's just something that's going to continue to grow as the years and the rivalry progresses.
You're seeing the international the people who cover international soccer cover all the big teams and stuff like that. I mean, it's getting talked about, and for that to be, of course, everybody knows Seattle, Portland. Hey, did anybody watch Seattle, Portland on Friday night? I mean, I did, but I watch all sorts of games.
Yeah,
I watched some
I
games
turned
there.
it off once everyone was wearing green and the field was green and the stands were green. Timber Joe was wearing, that was too much green.
It was too much green.
Yeah,
it was.
I did not like that.
Yeah.
But no, the Argentinian outlets, Argentine, again.
Yes, I know.
I'm just going to call it quits.
Pam's going to be mad at you. One of our favorite listeners, Pam.
But no, outlets aren't picking up Seattle, Portland highlights. You know, that's not getting picked up and getting millions of views on YouTube and, being shared on Bleacher Report. I'm sorry, those clips aren't being picked up, but the LAFC rivalry with the Galaxy rivalry with LAFC, El Trafico, is picked up globally, and people love it. So I think it's one of the best rivalries in the league. I think it's right there. It deserves global recognition. It's getting global recognition. So deservedly so.
All right. The MLS Cup Playoff schedule has been released, as I have said already. Decision Day is October 6th. That's the last regular season game for all teams. They'll all play at the same time, kick off at the same time.
I like Decision Day.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Hopefully it won't be as as thrilling,
as stressful as last year. Although I was feeling good at halftime.
everybody was feeling pretty good at halftime. I remember the halftime discussions was they're rolling right now. I wouldn't be surprised if they score one.
Yeah, we did have some discussions. Maybe it wasn't going to go our way.
So the LA Galaxy play that team, the Houston Dynamo, on October 6th. Again, all teams and all games will kick off at exactly the same time. So that is Decision Day, last day of the regular season. Then October 19th and 20th is your round one games. That's right, 13 days between games because there's an international break between that time. So,
if you're going to have an international break,
do it then.
That's the right place to put it.
It is. Now, here you go. So 13 days between international break in that. So that would be the first games. Now, there are 2 games being played on October 19th and 4 games being played on October 20th. And when the Galaxy make the playoffs, as I've been saying, they're a playoff team this entire time, so I'm going to continue with that. When the LA Galaxy make the playoffs, y'all need to cross your fingers that game is on October 20th or late in the evening on October 19th because, of course, that's the day I have to go do something. I have to go take my son back to Colorado, so I usually fly there and fly back.
Well,
now,
you better hope the Rapids turn it around and that game is happening in Colorado, right?
Maybe then I'll just stay.
Is that even mathematically possible? There's no way.
No, no. I think they're eliminated already. But anyway, so that is October 19th and then October 20th. So 6 games on that weekend. So again, a weekend. Those are being played on the weekend. But then after October 20th, there is a 2-day break, and then they're going right back to the conference semifinals. That is 2 games being played on the 23rd and 2 games being played on the 24th of October. Then you'll go through the weekend. That's right, the weekend. No games on the weekend. So the 26th, no games. October 26th, no games. October 27th, no games. To get back to a midweek, early Tuesday-Wednesday matchup, the 29th and the 30th, avoiding Halloween on the 31st, which was probably a smart deal there. But again, the conference finals will be on October 29th, 1 game, October 30th, 1 game. There are 11 days then between the conference finals and MLS Cup because of another international break. All right, so that'll be that little break.
The international break is the November 11th through the 19th.
Is that
correct?
Yeah.
And so they want to have.
That's right. They want to have it done right
MLS
before.
Cup final before the next break takes off.
So they're literally doing it the very last day that they could do it, which is November 10th. So they give the teams who've been playing through the playoffs and playing all those games in rapid succession and traveling and doing all that stuff, they give them basically the 11 days off, and then they'll play it on the 10th, and then that international break kicks off right after that. The big deal is November 10th, 12 p.m. Pacific time kickoff. This game will be televised domestically on ABC television, which was a big announcement.
Ooh, that is big.
Because it's not on quote-unquote cable, because it's not on ESPN or
the big boy
Fox.
channel.
These are the big boy channels. So
get
ABC,
it with the antenna.
That's right. You can. Get the rabbit ears out. Kids who are listening to this are like, rabbit ears?
Yeah.
What is that? Can I stream this? How do I even watch television anymore?
During Easter break?
Yeah, Univision Network is also a domestic distribution in this. In Canada, it's on TSN and TVA Sports, which means the 4 networks that are broadcasting this means it's the broadest domestic distribution ever, which you would have to imagine if there's a good matchup, which we have no idea if it's going to be a good matchup, because really everybody would think that, at one point the biggest matchup is going to be LA Galaxy versus LAFC in one of those Western Conference.
That's tasty. I just moaned right now. I don't know if that's good pot.
Everybody's like, what happened to Eric? He died. That's it. That was enough for him.
Yeah, and I think, sorry, I'm going to mention a wrinkle that was happening last year was, I have some friends who happen to have turned to the dark side, but had, LAFC won their playoff game, their game would have lined up, on the same night of a Dodgers World Series game. And so the Dodgers looking great. Again, if they make a World Series run in late October, early November, you have 2 LA teams and a Western. I mean,
there's something there. I
being
think
the sports center of the world would just be amazing on that day.
It would
during that stretch.
I think the MLS Cup might also possibly be played during the World Series.
Yeah.
If it goes to 7 games, I think it would have to go to 7 games. I didn't. Baxter had it in his article, so check the LA Times whenever he wrote about this. He figured that out because I would never even think to look at other sports. What other sports?
Well, I can tell you, decision day last year fell on a World Series game day as well. So having your soccer team go out and then having your baseball team lose as well, those aren't good days. So it could turn the other direction as well.
It absolutely could. So anyway, so that's how it shapes up. So now you understand what that playoff format is, and remember, these are all single elimination games.
And that's why you have the break from Wednesday, no weekend games, and the next Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, single elimination, the higher seed hosts. So basically, if you're in the top 4, you have a chance at hosting it. You will have not a chance. You will have at least one home game there. That's really the goal for the LA Galaxy, is to be in that top 4. The higher they climb, the better.
I think 2 or 3. I think
2 or 3
is the spot.
I think 2 or 3 is a great thing. I think 4 gets a little spicy.
Well,
because
where you land on the bracket.
It could all. There is no redraw here either.
Yeah.
So once you're set in the bracket, that is it. No mas. So it doesn't matter who wins or who outgoes. It stays straight in the bracket all the way across, which is why 1 could end up facing 4.
Yeah. We went 2 or 3. Third place. We can do it, Guillermo. If you're listening, we need it. Third place.
Third place. That's where you need. So that's where it sets right now. The LA Galaxy's weekly schedule going into this week, I'll sort of go a little bit backwards for you so that we understand. But on Monday, they did a little regen session, as you can understand, after playing that game at Bank of California Stadium on Sunday night. Then Tuesday, the team had a day off, which is good. Wednesday, 10 a.m., training. Thursday, as we're recording this podcast this morning, 10 a.m. training. Friday, a 10 a.m. training. And then Saturday is a team travel day. So the Galaxy will actually travel up to Seattle on Saturday, and then they will play that game on Sunday, September 1st at 3:30 p.m. So,
which is, I believe, is the way Zlatan likes it, because he mentioned, not having 2 or 3 days before, going in the day before and trying to make it happen. That's ideal for scheduling. Not that they have to deal with time difference or anything like that, but it's still you're in and out business trip, make it happen. And I also just want to give a shout out to David Bingham. It's contagious. Players are getting engaged on their days off. Yeah, David Bingham now engaged.
They need to stop giving these guys days off. I think Guillermo has to stop it. It's a baby sweep is coming. It's going to be all these guys all having. There's going to be 7 babies born like next year. Guillermo's going to be like, well, we had to call a whole bunch of guys up from Galaxy 2 because everybody's having a baby.
Yeah, we have the European break and then the baby break.
That's right.
Going on July next year.
They just need to schedule it like I did, off-season baby. Okay.
Well, let's see how dedicated they are to this club.
I mean,
I don't think anyone's at your level, but we'll see. We'll see where they land.
If I can do it, all right, everybody else can do it. Okay, just be like, no, not today, not today, not today. This is MLS Cup time, not today.
All right. I'm gonna leave that one alone.
I was gonna say
family show.
I was gonna say that's how it goes. Romero in the chat room brought up, roster freeze deadline coming up. So basically, Galaxy will freeze all of their roster, asking if there's any moves coming up before it.
Is there anyone who's an unclaimed free agent?
There's a possibility of a move, but not necessarily in. All right, so maybe out.
Well, Joao's already gone.
And to be honest, I don't even know if the roster freeze deadline would even be a thing. But anyway, there is a little rumblings of something, and if I had anything concrete, I would tell you what it is. But right now, it's just a little whisper, and so we'll see if that indeed continues.
Yeah, but no one's coming in. That's the bottom line.
No, I think this is done.
And I would assume anyone going out is not someone who we need.
Yeah, it's probably Zlatan. It's not Zlatan.
It's going to Man U.
No, yeah. Yeah, what'd you think? I mean,
let's talk about that.
Go ahead.
Okay, so Zlatan being interviewed after the game, someone asked him about Manchester United. And he said, if Manchester needs me, my contract with the Galaxy is through December 2021. So I thought that was interesting.
I don't think he's right.
Yeah.
So Zlatan's English isn't always perfect, and sometimes I think his math skills, he's been hit a lot on the head.
Yeah.
All right. So
so he said, right now I belong to the Galaxy, but when the time comes, if I'm still able to play, if Manchester needs me, then maybe I can go back. So he's a quote machine. Of course he's going to say he could play in the Premier League. I put a poll up on at Galaxy Profile. I think it was like 70 to 30 or 75 to 25 people think that he would be able to still contribute. I think he could still contribute. I don't know if he's a full-time 90-minute starter every time, and I don't know the Galaxy, if they were to do some type of loan or something and he is coming back, I don't know how I'd feel about sending him back to the club where he tore apart his knee. There's just bad juju there for me. But again, after 2021, yikes, that's a little bit tough.
I'd be like,
that's the kicker. But it was a good quote, an interesting quote.
From what I understand is that Zlatan's contract is up once, and he's even said that
it's a 1 year.
That it's 1 year, and that he will see about what happens next year. And if next year he comes back, he comes back. Now that doesn't mean that the Galaxy didn't already sign him and say, "Hey, listen, okay, so you're playing pretty good. You want to sign this up and get it done." And maybe there's an option for that. But he's always said it's dependent on his physical condition, and it's. Again, he's a guy that if he got injured for some reason, knock on wood, find something, I don't care. There's nothing in here. If there was,
it's unfortunate.
If he got injured, he would be the guy who doesn't take a salary. He'd be like, no, that's not.
He did that with Manchester.
Yeah, he did it with Manchester. Yeah. So I don't think the Galaxy are, and if they did indeed extend him, it would be hard to argue. I would say,
pull up the stats.
let's do it.
The guy who's going to be the record-leading goal scorer
for the LA Galaxy.
Season, you're going to tell that guy, don't come back. That's tough. I feel like if he wants to come back, he's feeling good. You hang on to him. Although we saw the Robbie Keane experiment, holding on a year too long.
Always better to get rid of a year too early than a year too long. I know, but it's tough. It's okay. So Zlatan scored 22 goals in 27 appearances last year.
Okay.
This year he has 22 goals in 22 appearances.
That's a good rate, right?
That's a good rate.
Okay,
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
And let me crunch the numbers there.
Yeah,
that's a goal per game.
Zlatan had his third multiple goal game in the last 5 games.
See, he's on a tear right now.
Yeah, it's his third consecutive 2-goal game. He's scored 2 goals in the last 3 games. 7th multi-goal game this season. If you're looking and you're watching the live show, I have a graphic up right now. The all-time LA Galaxy goal scorers in the single season. I mentioned it on Monday, but you can see it in the flesh if you're watching the live show. Carlos Ruiz in the year 2002 scored 24 goals in 26 games played. He had 2,376 minutes. He averaged 0.92 goals per game, or 1 goal every 99 minutes. Okay,
pretty good.
Not bad.
Again, club legend.
Robbie Keane. In 2015, I'm just sort of skipping around the chart, but Robbie Keane, as good as he was in 2015, scored 20 goals, played 24 games, played 2,059 minutes, and averaged 0.83 goals per game, or 1 goal every 103 minutes.
Again, club legend.
Club legend. Landon Donovan, 2008, 20 goals, 25 games played, 2,136 minutes, 0.80 goals per game, or 1 goal every 107 minutes. Club legend.
Club legend. I was going to say.
Yep.
You see a theme here.
Yeah, you see a theme. Zlatan Ibrahimovic in 2019, 22 goals, 22 games played, 1,980 minutes, averaging 1 goal per game. And guess what? That's 1 goal every 90 minutes. Yeah. I was going to say, I keep reading that out, and and everybody's like, well, duh, that's what it means. But it doesn't mean that.
Yeah, because you had 103 minutes in there, so it's not quite the 0.83. Yeah. So it makes sense. I'm following you here.
Okay, good.
But the reason why I kept saying club legend is because people are saying, well, Zlatan, if he doesn't make the playoffs, if he doesn't win a championship, what's his legacy going to be? I think his legacy, if he breaks the goal scoring record, is club legend. You know, given the types of goals he's scored, given what he's done for the club internationally, and the experiences he's given fans and the games that he's been in, I think he gets club legend status. Yes, if he doesn't win a championship, slight asterisk there because, Robbie Keane, Carlos Ruiz, Landon Donovan, everyone that you named there has MLS
Eduardo
Cup.
Hurtado. Did Hurtado in 96?
He did not win a cup,
not
though.
win. Yeah.
So they went to the finals, but no cup. But at the same token, Hurtado is someone who I'd look at as a club legend. He was the first goal scorer, for that team. Someone who,
21 goals, 26
goals.
games played, 0.81 goals per game, 1 goal every 111 minutes.
That's a great record. And he's someone who's looked back on fondly. So I don't think you could look back if we took 10 years down the road, say, oh, that's Zlatan. He didn't do anything for the Galaxy when he come here. This is not a Steven Gerrard situation.
It might be one of those things where I almost feel like we're too close to it right now.
Yeah.
He makes a lot of these goals look really easy.
They're not.
They're not.
Especially
right?
when you look at the Puskas, nominee,
right.
For the 500th goal. Every time I rewatch that, at the time when you're losing to Toronto and you're like, what a garbage goal. But at the same time, the more you look at it and the athleticism, it's really an amazing.
It's ridiculous.
He's scoring amazing goals.
He does it. And he has scored amazing goals that look difficult, but he also scores goals that are like, oh, that's easy. I think his second goal against LAFC where the ball comes,
it's training ground
I'm just going to stick around and it's fine.
And
Don't worry
about
it.
And he misses the sitters against Seattle.
Yeah, he does, right? But I mean, so all the stuff. So he makes it look easier than it probably is. There's 7 games left. I don't see him missing any of these games. So like in terms of, I know you're like jinx. I saw your face whenever I said that. It's not a jinx.
He'd have to go on a 7-game goal drought.
Yeah, I mean he's going to score 2 goals to tie him. For sure. He could do it against Seattle.
Yeah.
I mean that's the whole thing is you start to see this. And by the way, I said that's 3 consecutive games with 2 goals scored. Gee, what's the big change that came in? Trying to think of what happened. Oh, Christian Pavone?
No, I think it was Fabio dyed his hair.
Yeah, it was Fabio. That's what it was. It was Fabio Alvarez.
A different shade of blonde.
Yeah. I was talking to some players, and I said, "Hey, big takeaway from LAFC, right? Just what did you think?"
Was this the inside scoop?
Yeah, this is a little inside
information.
This is in public. I'm just sharing it with people, my close friends. But I said, what did you think of LAFC game? This person goes, we have 3 offensive options again, and that's making all the difference. And you can guess who the 3: Fabio Alvarez, who has come out of I would say a slumber since joining the Galaxy. I mean, he had some good moments.
He had a good start when he first came. Yeah, right. he looked to be a spark,
but nothing like crazy, right? You're not like all of a sudden you put Christian Pavone in there, so guys can't sit on Fabio in the center. And they have to watch where Pavone's going.
They can't sit on Pavone.
They can't sit on Pavone.
That's going to open up a lion in the middle there.
And then you can't sit on Zlatan.
Yeah.
So the combination of those 3 players, again, and funny.
Great analysis from whoever gave you that tip.
I was going to say.
I could tell you that from my
You don't
TV.
need to be a professional talking about.
You're telling me Pavone, Alvarez, and Zlatan have been good?
Here's why that's important though. Like,
but if they're feeling themselves, that's a good thing.
Well, that's the thing. It's the confidence that comes with saying that. It's like, hey, we realize that the offense wasn't producing the way it should probably be, and that's my paraphrase. I'm reading between the lines here, but hey, we realize the offense probably wasn't performing the way it is. The defense is what it is. It's not great. It's not horrible. It's just okay. But if you look at the offense is way down from last year.
Yeah.
So the offense really is the part that if it gets better, the Galaxy will win games. Yeah. So the big deal there is that they feel it, that they feel that confidence. I mean, so the draw with Seattle, what'd you hear out of the locker room? Lots of positives coming out of it, right?
Yeah.
The draw against LAFC, right? You sit there and go, they're disappointed that they didn't win.
But they held on to a
But they held on to a point.
Could have been 4-3 the other direction.
It could have been, right? Mm-hmm. And so there's positives in that. So this is a team, and we've said it, momentum. I think it was you. Like, momentum doesn't mean anything to this team,
It may not have been me.
Oh, it was probably Panda.
Still
you guys
true.
look at the same.
You know what? I'm going to take credit for it.
Yeah, just raise your hand. That was me.
It was me. And that article in the LA Times, I wrote that also.
That's good. I'm glad. So then you put in all this stuff, and you put it all together. So now you have 3 offensive weapons, right?
Not offensive weapons, offensive.
Offensive weapons. Well, sometimes they can be offensive to some people. So where do you get a 4th one from? You get Romain Alessandrini back on the field.
See,
now
that's
now
you're talking my language.
So
here.
So Steve Carrillo, who you've seen his photographs on this website, Corner of the Galaxy, he does a great job along with Brittany Campbell. They're both amazing photographers, and thank God we have them.
Yeah, always good shots.
Yeah. So Steve texts me and he goes, I was listening to the podcast on Monday and you started talking about Romain Alessandrini coming back, and he goes, and that'd be something to watch. I'm like, yeah. I go. That's sort of the idea is that it's coming back. I'll tell you right now, Romain Alessandrini, from all of the things that I've been saying, and there's certainly people who think that he's back training and doing stuff. He's working hard to get back. He's not on the field.
Okay.
And he hasn't been on the field.
Well, I text you.
Yeah.
off air, a conversation that we had. I said, Roman's been posting a lot about on LAFC and about the team. I said, how cool would it be if he just showed up on the bench against LAFC.
That would have
been
a little jaw drop.
Yeah, even if the intent wasn't to play him, I
right.
mean, to see him on the team sheet would have been a masterful mind stroke. But obviously, he's not there yet.
Somebody asked me, I think it was earlier this week. They said, "Okay, 7 games remaining. How many games do you see Romain Alessandrini playing in?" And I didn't not starting, but playing in. I said 3.
I think the last 3, the home stretch. It's at home.
It sort of seems that
It's
way.
against beatable teams.
The Houston game at the end is away, right? So
Yes,
it's
but the 3 September games
Right.
at home, the final Dignity Health Sports Park stretch.
push. Yeah. So that's that. I think 3. I think 3 might be even a little optimistic. I mean, he's not on the field yet. You have to figure that from the moment he steps on the field, that's 2 weeks. Because it's tough. You haven't been training.
Your lungs back.
You have to get your lungs back.
Yeah.
And
I don't care how many Instagram videos he posts.
No.
It's not game style. Why can't I speak today? I know what that is.
because you went back to school and you've
my
been
brain,
drained.
Yeah, my brain is not working. I'm not firing on all cylinders
That's
this
okay.
week.
That people are used to that. Don't worry about it. This
Thanks.
week, I like how you tried to
Yeah,
quantify
this
that.
week,
This week, it's not working. Other weeks, I'm
always
locked
spot
in.
on.
But no, so I mean, the Roman Alessandrini sort of question is going to remain out there, and I don't know that you're going to see a great answer for that until you just see him, and it's going to be sub roles. I mean, this guy ain't starting, and he may not start even if the Galaxy get to the playoffs.
But if he can give you a little bit of what he was as a starter, as a sub, even if it's a fraction of it, you have to mark him, you have to cover him. You said you can't cover Fabio because you have to worry about Pavone. You can't worry about Pavone because you have to worry about Zlatan. If you bring Alessandrini on, you have to worry about him as well. And so, even if it's I hate to say this because it's not. A coach doesn't bring on a player to be a decoy. But even if it's a decoy, you bring him on and you get in the other
Christian
team's head.
Wilhelmsen helped the LA Galaxy win an MLS Cup as a decoy.
Just enough to run in and cause interference.
That's right.
And free up space.
Just look dangerous. You don't have to be dangerous. Just look dangerous, right?
Yeah.
I always thought it was funny that somebody said, there was this poll that they were taking and they wanted to see, in what sport could you fake being a professional athlete for the longest, right? And, of course somebody says soccer and my snap reaction is, you guys don't understand the game. I totally agree with him. After I thought about it for a while, I'm like, oh yeah, because you could run
as
around
long as
out
you
there.
could run, yeah.
Right?
As long as you could run.
Get it. Oh, look, okay. And just like sort of not want the ball, just move into spaces.
And if you get in close contact with defenders, you could say, oh, they dispossessed you, or, you could draw a few fouls. Yeah, you probably can get away with it.
Right? It's one of those. So, anyway, a little side note. But this goes back to the LA Galaxy, and if you think of it like, the Galaxy in 2012, where you had, 3 offensive weapons, or 2011, 3 offensive weapons in David Beckham and Robbie Keane and Landon Donovan, that it made sure that you couldn't, take a look for that.
And then when you have, your Mike McGee's, someone who's maybe not at that level, but is still going to be able to be a threat.
Yeah.
Those are the type of players you need as well.
So again, and John's asking, Roman's status. Again, he's not back on the field. I can't give you a status until the guy gets back on the field. And we might find out more because I have a feeling that some reporters are going to ask, but media availability for everybody is on Friday because it's always 2 days before the game. So usually we get it on Thursday. We find out Thursday morning, we can record, but want to make sure that we get this in and this podcast has a chance to get out to everybody for the game on Sunday because it's an earlier Sunday game.
And I was going to say, you need to follow Roman on social media because once he's on the field, you'll know. He'll post about it. he's been. You can tell he's dying to come back. He's posting about his recovery story. So once he gets on the field, there's no doubt in my mind that he'll be the first one to tell you.
He'll jump up and down. He'll be like, I'm back. So yeah, you're right. That's probably the way. One of the things I wanted to make sure and get to as well was the LA Galaxy and Zlatan Ibrahimovic. This is kind of cool. All right, I'm going to tell you this because I saw this and I'm like, dude, for $10 you could win a trip to meet Zlatan Ibrahimovic. And for my out-of-state people who are like, hey, this is your chance. For $10, you can literally win plane tickets, hotel to Los Angeles. See, if you're already in LA, you kind of get screwed. But again, it's $10.
I was
going to
say I'd take a flight somewhere else, go on vacation, and have them fly me back.
There you go. That's right. Go fly over to Nevada or something like that. Just make it. You don't want to go too long. You know, just make them fly you back.
I'm going to save you money in the long run.
But anyway, LA Galaxy and Zlatan Ibrahimovic are teaming up to fight ALS. Fans can enter for a chance to be flown to Los Angeles for an LA Galaxy game and a private meet and greet with Zlatan Ibrahimovic by donating as little as $10.
$10, that's it.
$10. All entries benefit Project ALS, 121 USA Foundation, and ALS Association Golden West Chapter. Again, this is something that you can find. It is the link. Prize.eo, or I guess Prize.o.
Prize.eo.
Yeah,
there was a thing when
Prize. If you're trying to get people to spell it, so prize, PRIZEO.com /LA Galaxy.
There you go. Done and done.
Easy. The winner will be flown. If you're out of state, will be flown and housed in a hotel. I'm pretty sure you still get the hotel even if you live here in LA.
Yeah, that would make sense,
right? Yeah, get a break from the kids.
Hey,
I know you could use that.
I was
right?
gonna say, at the very least, put you up at the hotel. Send the Uber XL. You don't save on the plane ride. But
That's
put
right.
us up at the hotel.
That's right. So anyway, $10 is a chance to win a chance to meet Zlatan Ibrahimovic in a private meeting after the game, and you get tickets to the Vancouver Whitecaps on Sunday, September 29th.
I mean, that's where they're gonna get people.
Yeah,
$10 tickets to the Vancouver Whitecaps come into town. It's the hottest ticket in LA that weekend. So that's really what I would go after. I've met Zlatan.
Yeah, Zlatan, whatever.
I want those sweet Whitecaps tickets.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought it was cool. So I wanted to make sure everybody got that and sort of took a look at that. All right. Let's see. See, this is funny. I knew I wanted to get to questions and do all that stuff, so I knew we were going to run long tonight, even though we were a little scattered trying to get ready for the show.
It's one of those weeks. Tables? Want to talk about tables?
Tables. Yeah, let's do it. The Eastern Conference right now is headed by Atlanta United at 48 points. Philadelphia Union in second at 48 points. We head on down to the Western Conference because it's more interesting anyway. LAFC all the way up there at 62. Again, there's runaway Supporter Shield winners. They're almost there.
You mentioned Atlanta being at the top. The way Atlanta is playing right now, to me, I would take them as MLS Cup favorites. I think they're coming. They're peaking at the right time.
Oh, you just wanted to use that. I think the LA Galaxy are peaking at the right time too, though.
I agree. I think an Atlanta LA Galaxy final it's not impossible.
Hey,
I don't want to get ahead. Where's the wood?
Knock wood. There's none on here.
I'm not going to get ahead of myself.
No.
But Atlanta to me is playing some really nice soccer.
You have to live with the curse that I live with, which is I say anything and people are like, "You cursed them." And you now get this as well. It's just something you live by. And if anybody says you cursed them, say get real, grow up, and then in your back of your mind being like, "Yeah, that was kind of me.
That was my fault."
That was how it goes.
I'm a superstitious guy. I'm stitious.
RSL sitting at 43 points, Seattle at 43 points, LA Galaxy at 42, Minnesota 42, San Jose 41, FC Dallas 40, Portland Timbers at 37. Portland's going to climb into the playoffs, so I'm telling you right now.
Yeah. The drop from 8 to 9 is okay, but that 8 to 2. That makes me nervous.
Yeah, it is.
I know we shouldn't be, but
it's only 6 points right now.
It makes me nervous.
It's only 6 points. That's how it goes. If you look at the LA Galaxy schedule, which we will tell you about here in a quick second, you look at their strength of schedule right now. MLS is projecting, and they use the average of away points and home points of the opponents in order to dictate whether or not the schedule. The LA Galaxy currently have the 5th hardest schedule in Major League Soccer down these last stretches. I don't listen.
My eyeballs don't tell me that.
I disagree. Here's the problem: is that the Western Conference is so bunched together, and they have so many Western Conference games that I feel like there's an uneven distribution within that.
Well, and you look at Seattle. If you look at the form guide for Seattle, they started off the season on fire. So Seattle had a great
similar
start.
to the LA Galaxy.
Yeah, so right now, obviously, Seattle doesn't look like the team they did at the beginning, but that strength of schedule is based on points that they earned earlier in the season. So, form guide tells you differently, but obviously the way they develop that is not based on their current form. It's on the season as a whole.
Well, and if we look at the points per month for the LA Galaxy, you can sort of see the trend. The Galaxy started with an average of 2.25 points in March, went up to 2.60 points in April, and then did 1 point per game, averaged 1 point per game in May, 1 point per game in June, where there were only 3 games, 1.5 points per game in July, which is actually an increase. So
trending in the right direction.
Trending in the right direction. Back to August, 1 point per game, but there were also 5 games in that. So it's more points whenever you look at it.
August was rough.
2 losses, 1 win, 2 draws, technically unbeaten in 3 right now. I mean, if you want to play that fun game.
I do like to play that game, and I get in trouble when I play that game.
Yeah, you're like, I'm going to make this sound better.
What does unbeaten mean?
Yeah.
Do you mean they've won? No, not really.
No, not really.
When you talk to your friends who don't follow soccer. So the ties, soccer has ties. Anyway, that's a different conversation. But I know they've been playing well, but there were points to be had that they didn't pick up, and that's why you look back at that with a little bit of regret.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know how you can't. All right, so if we head to the schedule now, you look, the LA Galaxy on Sunday, September 1st, play Seattle Sounders. Then again, a break for 10 days. Come back after the international break, play Wednesday, September 11th at Dick's Sporting Goods Park. They're at Colorado. That is a game at altitude. That is a difficult game, even though it's a bad team. It's still a difficult game. That's not the easiest game I see on this schedule right now. Then, home to Sporting Kansas City. That is a game the Galaxy should win. SKC have been struggling, except that they started winning all of a sudden.
I was going to say, well, you look at the talent on that team. You never know with SKC. The talent is there that they can beat the LA Galaxy. So that game again should win. Whoa.
I know
they should win, but But we'll see where that lands.
Yeah, it makes some sense, and that's sort of where you have to watch for SKC. Then Montreal, who just won a game.
Should be a win.
Should be a win.
We'll see where it lands.
It's a long travel day. Remember that. That's a very long travel day for them. And then, of course, you get to the game against Real Salt Lake. That's an away game. That's a tough game.
That is a tough game.
And it's always a tough game against RSL.
Against Wilmer Cabrera's RSL. Is that correct?
No.
Where did he go?
He went to Montreal. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wherever.
Whatever.
They had a fired coach. That's what threw me off.
Interchangeable.
I thought I was being cute.
No,
That's what I get. Shut my mic off again.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll just mute you again. So anyway, that one, then it's RSL. Then it's home to the Vancouver Whitecaps. That should be a win. Yep.
I don't like where this is going.
This is
all these should-haves. We're going to shit all over ourselves. I just know it.
Here is the rub here. Is that I can tell you that the LA Galaxy are better than the Colorado Rapids and that they should win that game. I can tell you that they're better than Sporting Kansas City and that they should win that game. I can tell you that they're better than Montreal and they should win that game. I can tell you that technically speaking, I think they're a better team than Real Salt Lake and they should win that game. They're better than the Vancouver Whitecaps. They should win that game.
I just heard 15 points.
And they're better than the Houston Dynamo and they should win that game.
18 points.
The game that is probably more even than anybody wants to talk about right now is this game on Sunday.
Yeah.
And it's why it's an important game because with a win, I really feel like the LA Galaxy can sort of cement themselves in an upper Western Conference position because I look at the rest of these and listen, they're not all going to go the Galaxy's way. So weird things are going to happen.
There's going to be some draws.
Dan Sterr is going to get a weird red card again. It's like different things like that. Something's going to happen. So there are hardships in this. And you look at the altitude and away and guys on international duty.
And turf.
And turf. Yeah, exactly. And playing in turf in Seattle. And so all of these different things that you're looking at. I mean, RSL is a game at altitude that people don't like to pretend is at altitude.
Yeah.
It's at altitude as well. So there's some hurdles in here. But I can't find myself. If you're asking me right now to pick,
if we're making predictions, what's going to happen in this game. Every game you would go in saying, I don't know. I feel comfortable taking the Galaxy, especially the way they've been playing. I'm right there with you.
All right. So if you're right there with me, and I'm right there with you, let's go to some questions real quick because I wanted to get some from some of our Reddit viewers because they've been inundating us.
Okay, I was gonna say they've been neglected. We haven't brought up our Reddit friends.
They're on here all the time. Don't play that. Let's see. We did an Allison Drini update, so we did it. I got one. My question. This is Ron7 on Reddit. It says this person again. Don't know. Guy, girl, whatever.
Ron7.
Ron7.
Fan
says,
of Ronaldo, I'm guessing.
You just want everything to be about Ronaldo. Okay.
Yes, that's half true.
He says, my question relates to the smoke after scoring goals in the supporters section. It seems many teams have the smoke bombs go off after a goal is scored. What happened to our blue smoke bombs, particularly in the Riot Squad section? Well, I reached out to my good friend Chris Tucker and asked him that question because I noticed they're not there. Now, Chris told me I could share this with you. So
I was going to say, I can't. I'm going to stay quiet because whenever you get into supporter group stuff,
this is why I asked.
Okay,
this is why I went and I asked and I said, hey, let's see what we can find. In terms of this, I'm going to ask somebody who knows. And there's some common sense things here as well. I'm going to tell you there's really two probably big things that you need to keep your mind around whenever it comes to the smoke. Is one that has to be approved by the fire marshal.
Yeah.
It has to be a self-igniting, I guess. Or what is it? Let's see. He said it's like you can't
self-extinguishing, probably.
Yeah, it's
like a road flare.
You can't have something ignite it. It has to be self-igniting because they don't want any open flames or anything, which you can get. It has to be non-toxic. It has to be all these other things that you have to get.
Organic, gluten-free.
And Chris tells me the best part was he told me that Bruce Arena once they said that they wanted to do smoke out there, and Bruce Arena says, I'll let you do it. This was when Bruce was in charge of everything, right? Bruce goes, I'll let you do it, but it has to disperse in a minute or less.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
Bruce
Is that possible?
Wait. Bruce Arena showed up with a stopwatch.
Wow.
And watched them do it. And whenever it dispersed in 45 seconds, he said, all right, good enough, and walked off the field.
Wow,
that was
scientific. A man who likes his data.
This was Bruce. He's like, I got other things to do. We're doing this. Cool.
I got a stopwatch. Yep. We're good.
So it has to be approved by the fire marshal. There's all these other things. Here's the thing that Chris sort of said. He said, our first priority is always the game day experience of those in the section. He says that the people are his top priority, and that the LA Riot Squad, they want to. So after that, supporting the G's, the visual aspects are all sort of second there. And the problem is that people who get there at first, who are there at the bottom of the thing, get to breathe in nasty smoke
for
and
45
can't see
seconds
for like a minute, after a game. So they're getting punished. And so that really probably is the big thing. It's also a pain in the butt to do because of all the approvals that I sort of went over.
Yeah, you have to jump through all those hoops.
So many hoops to jump through. So anyway, I wanted to say that. So that was from Chris. He relayed that to me. I believe I'm doing him justice with that.
Okay.
But again, reach out to LA Riot Squad. I'm sure, Andrew over there will tell you what's going on.
I was always a fan of the streamers. I always liked it when they...
It's fun. I like streamers, so that's always good too. Let's see. Any Zlatan replacements you can see coming if he decides to leave? Nobody knows. I mean, that's... What?
Ricardo Quaresma just signed for a different Turkish club, so he's not coming. So check that one off the list.
I was going to say. Let's see. Why isn't Julian Araujo starting, in your opinion? This one from Penguino 6971.
Oh, yeah, another Ronaldo fan. It doesn't have to make sense.
Sometimes I don't know if you're serious or not, and I'm sitting there going, did I miss something? Is that how it goes? Why isn't Araujo? In my opinion, he's 18 and he's young.
Yeah, you're banking on what you know, known commodity. Yeah, I could see that. I think you'll still see him. There's still games to be played where he's going to make, I think Guillermo is going to show, he's shown confidence in him and played him in spots and asked him to play midfield in the midfield role, asked him to start in big games. So I think he has a spot in this team. But if you're not seeing him as a regular starter, you have other regular starters as well. So you can prefer Araujo over Felcher, but at the same time, I think Felcher, you know what you're getting, and Felcher's, there's not a huge downgrade there.
Yeah, the biggest question right now that everybody's asking.
I had a feeling I was going to get this.
LA Galaxy Outsider is asking is Eric drinking a pumpkin spice nitro? What are you drinking over there?
It's a pumpkin cream cold brew. It sounded delicious.
How is it?
Pumpkin spice season. It's good. It's what I expected. It's a cold brew with the pumpkin cream. I don't like it, the pumpkin spice. It's too sweet. So the cold brew cuts it just enough that it's not too sweet. So I highly recommend the pumpkin cream cold brew from Starbucks.
I always say,
when you make your trip to Seattle this weekend, head to your local Starbucks for a pumpkin cold brew. I messed up. I botched it. I didn't rehearse that one.
It's okay. It's okay. They're not sponsoring this anyway.
Was the camera on me at least for that one?
Sponsored comment. I don't know. It's on somebody. Usually I let it sit there for a little while. But
times.
no. Anyway, so yeah, that was the big one. It's nice
Felcher
to know.
over Araujo.
Yeah, it's nice, by the way, to know that whenever I think I have sort of a girly drink over here, that you always have one that's way more girly than me. So I appreciate
not
it.
Usually.
Yeah, always.
I went off the menu today.
Always, yeah.
What do you think?
Or on the menu, very very on the menu. Again, I think right now you're right. It's a known commodity. He's still inconsistent. He's like Efrain Alvarez. I mean, you're going to play him. You're going to give him some minutes, but you can't expect the world from him.
Yeah.
They're going to screw up more than they succeed. And when we saw Araujo play against LAFC in that game, that was a success moment, and that's good. And he has that now. But that also could have gone horribly wrong.
Yes, especially in the midfield role. And he played another game where I think maybe it was a Leagues Cup match, where they asked him to play midfield, and it didn't yield the same results.
This one from, let's see, Sipote Loco? Cipote Loco?
Sure.
I don't know. I maybe the guy's like, no, that's German, not Spanish. Yeah. Said from front office to season members, all season ticket members, and partial plan holders have been relocated out of sections 226 and 227 into sections 237 and 238. In 2020, visiting supporters groups will be placed in sections 226 and 227. This is something we kind of knew was probably coming.
And I believe they did it just for San Jose, just for LAFC.
Right.
So some people were wondering, I think it was the Seattle game.
Yeah,
why wasn't Seattle up there?
Yeah, well, that's going to happen. This particular person is asking, that they thought it was really bad communication because that person's seats were over there. I'll tell you right now, it's the same sort of as the safe standing area. Things are going to get moved around sometimes. Yeah. I know everybody gets married to their seats. I mean, everybody has their favorite place to watch, and everybody has these seats, and it is. But you're going to get moved around if they deem it. And, I mean, this makes sense for the Galaxy. One, to put away supporters further away from the
greater
field.
Good.
And I understand in my mind, the greater good here, if you're looking at this, that's what's being served here. And it sucks sometimes because people lose their seats they've had forever, but that's not the overall reaching goal of this, is to make sure you always have your seat in the exact same spot.
And I know some people were upset being relocated after the safe standing. And I think when you look at it, you look at the supporter groups who wanted safe standing. You look at safe standing being something that could really create a presence and an atmosphere in a stadium. So if you got relocated, understand that it's to improve the club atmosphere. It's to improve the stadium atmosphere. Same thing with if you're being relocated because of a supporter section. Instead of having a supporter group in prime location in view of cameras, Now you're going to have them up on the top out of the view. And so that's just going to make your stadium more appealing, your club more appealing. So I understand, again, like you said, you nailed all the points. People get married to their seats, but change is good.
Yeah.
Change, sit in a different area every once in a while. It's going to be okay.
This person does have a potential gripe. I mean, you renew for 2020 and they don't say anything, and then they tell you afterwards
that's a different conversation.
And that's a communication issue that I'm
okay.
Doesn't
fair.
surprise me.
Then that's fair.
That's a fair
If
argument.
you bought those seats, expecting those seats, and after the fact you were relocated, then that's a different thing altogether.
Yeah. Let's see. Rasoka says, you think Pato is going to sign with the Galaxy when his contract ends?
Panda and Pato in the morning.
Sorry, that was the only reason. No, everybody knows that the questions about Pato are not allowed anymore. Let's see. Slothy Savage 27. In hindsight, do you think it might have been better to slot Romney into center back and keep Polenta on Vela like the previous El Trafico? Yes, and I said that to begin with, so it's not even hindsight for me. I said it at the beginning. And by the way, everybody's saying, and I went and checked something.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Do you want to interrupt me or?
It's Shelvik. I didn't think he was that bad.
He wasn't.
He got a bum deal getting some calls
card
against him, but I don't think he was totally out of place. Yeah, one of those goals. If you look at the replay, wasn't a great look for Shelvik, but I think the way he was handling Vela wasn't terrible.
Here is
glowing review, not terrible.
And then whenever Dave Romney came in, people say, "Oh, well, he let Vela score on that one." I would like to point out
it's unlucky.
I would like to point out it was very unlucky because you talked about bad bounces.
Yeah, that was literally a bad bounce.
The worst bounce that Dave Romney got was in that one right there because Jonathan Dos Santos, who did it on another goal as well, tipped the ball and it tipped it around Romney's foot and went right to Carlos Vela.
Yeah, you saw him follow through and catch air.
It was like nope.
So it's like, did he mess that up? But yeah, when you re-looked at it, it was a bad bounce.
All right, I think that's Galaxy Joe Boy. How can the Galaxy manage these crucial final games and into the playoffs with such a lack of depth on the bench? It's about conditioning. You looked at it. You saw it in LAFC.
So let's talk about that.
Yep.
Valdecantos was brought in at the beginning of the season. We talked about these, hell days and where the players were exhausted, and this fitness was supposed to be something where this is going to be a hallmark of the Galaxy where they're going to be able to outlast. In the second half versus LAFC, I saw a team that was tired.
Yep. And LAFC played a midweek game, by the way.
Could you argue that they did what they were supposed to do? They held on, or did they look tired? To me, they looked like they were not conditioned to handle that. Yeah, they played other games to it, but they didn't have a midweek game. They looked more tired than LAFC did. So what do you think?
I think that the condensed nature of this schedule down the line is making everybody sort of do this.
But everybody's in that schedule.
Yeah, but I mean, you look at, again, I think LAFC is in a better position to be a deeper team and to be able to switch and do
rotate.
Stuff. They do. And they have, quite honestly, they have younger players. I mean, you look at Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and he's going to be tired. He's going to be tired for the next 7 games, and he's going to be tired going into the playoffs.
But when you saw the walking at the end, that was rough. Rough to watch. Expected to
Zlatan
a
always
degree.
Does that. And
but there was one play in particular where
he was like, no, he let Pavone go, and he was like, I'm not there.
Because, I do hear the Zlatan haters, he's not running, he doesn't get after it. But there are games, and I've seen him, where he is 100% chasing balls down and tracking back and going after it. So I wouldn't say that that's as common a trait as people who like to complain about it do. But if you were watching that play, you gave those haters some voice there.
Ramiro on Twitter says, with a packed September schedule, how do you think I imagine he's thinking the LA Galaxy, how do you think we use our remaining charters?
Ooh.
I don't think you touch charters.
You save them for when you need them.
I think you save them for the playoffs.
Yeah,
I think the Galaxy have 2 legs remaining out of their 4 that they have, so I think they've used 2. If I'm correct. Now, that's 3 charters overall because they got the 1 charter in whenever the plane got rerouted. But other than that, I think
they're allotted.
Yeah, I think there's 2 left, and I think you save them for the playoffs because if you want to end up finishing
4th,
5th,
you're going to need to travel.
6th, 7th, you're going to have to travel, and you're going to want that. And with the quick turnarounds, a charter would be nice. So I think you don't touch it. I think you try to survive.
What's the furthest they're traveling? Is it Salt Lake?
Let's see.
And when you think about it, that's
Seattle.
Seattle
might be the furthest.
And it's not really that bad of a flight.
Yeah, it's Seattle, Colorado, and RSL are the last 3 remaining. And Houston. Houston's actually a surprisingly
shockingly a little bit further. But maybe for Houston, last game of the season. But the only thing is decision day. You have a huge break after decision day.
Yeah. There'll certainly be a break there. So as long as you can survive it.
You can take it there.
You can take it there. All right. Let's get now to the To the
Who
fun
are we
fun
playing?
stuff. I have no idea. You're supposed to tell me at this point. LA Galaxy facing off against the Seattle Sounders coming up on Sunday, September 1st. Again, a 3:30 p.m. Pacific time kickoff. This game is on Fox Sports 1, FS1. So you're certainly going to want to watch that. 3:30 p.m. a little earlier on Sunday, but you have Monday off, so you're all good. You can tuck in for this one. So tell your wife you're staying up late even though the game's at 3:30. All right. Or tell your husband you're staying up late even though the game's at 3:30.
Say, way to keep it fair. Female listeners out there as well.
I got to work hard.
Got to look out for everybody.
I got to work way harder. That's for sure. So I think Eric, if you're ready, I'm ready.
Not really, but yeah, I'll go
Not
for it.
really. It's back to school week for Eric, so we never know quite. Again, you've heard what he said so far. Just
Yeah.
keep
Expect some stumbles.
That's it's gonna be interesting. All right, here we go. LA Galaxy at Seattle Sounders.
As flies to wonton boys, we are for the gods. They kill us for the sport. Soon, the science will not only be able to slow down the aging of the cells, soon the science will fix the cells to the state, and so we become eternal. Only accidents, crimes, wars will still kill us. But unfortunately, crimes and wars will multiply. I love football. LA Galaxy versus Seattle Sounders this Sunday.
Very nice. Little Cantona speech, huh?
That one was for me. You know, I consider myself a man of the people, and I hype myself up with these intros. I got a kick out of that speech from Eric Cantona, which if you haven't seen it, look it up. At the UEFA Champions League draw, he had the most bizarre speech. They asked him what he was thinking, and I just loved it too much. It needed to be my intro this week.
I understand. I like it verbatim. So yeah, a little shout out there. LA Galaxy 13-11-3, 42 points. Seattle Sounders 12-8-7, 43 points. I do like the chat room. Too far, Hammer. Too far.
Like I said, that one was for me. I apologize.
Yeah,
the rest of the weeks it's for you guys, but I took this one for me.
That's all right. All right. Seattle Sounders 12-8-7, 43 points, only 1 point better than the LA Galaxy. At home right now, 8-2-3 for the Seattle Sounders, 27 points. The Galaxy at home have 28 points. Away on the road, Galaxy 14 points, 4-7-2, and Seattle 4-6-4 on the road, 16 points. And if you remember, this is the second meeting in the last 3 weeks for these two teams, because why not MLS scheduling? So you saw the LA Galaxy down a man for 84 minutes, I believe. 84 minutes, 85 minutes, who knows?
And
it's
the Shelvick face goal.
Yeah, and the Shelvick face goal was the draw in that one. That was the defining moment, I guess, in that particular game. The LA Galaxy played really well. I said after that game, there's no way the Seattle Sounders are a playoff team, and they go up and they beat Portland. Now,
at Portland.
Watching that game, I'm still not impressed.
Yeah, it was a weird game.
It was. Well, I mean, there's a whole bunch of reasons that was an interesting game. Sort of looking at it, but again, you can look at this and say, I'm still not a believer that the Seattle Sounders are real, but they currently sit one position better than the LA Galaxy.
And the one thing is, when you look back at that game here in LA, where they killed us was on the counterattack. So, with Rui Diaz and Jordan Morris, those players have a lot of speed. And where this Galaxy team is weak is on the defense against the counterattack. So even though I feel like they have the mental edge, being down a man and still being able to come back and essentially have the lead and win that game, albeit for a mistake, the Sounders could scare you, because all it takes is one lucky bounce on that turf, catch a defender, catch Rolf upfield, and the next thing you know, Seattle's up a goal or two. So the one thing they got to watch out for me is the counter, but we talked about the attack. There's no reason why the Galaxy, talent-wise, shouldn't be able to beat the Sounders team.
The LA Galaxy all-time against the Seattle Sounders, 10-7-10. Good record.
It's a pretty even series.
It is. At Seattle, 4-4-5. That's not bad.
I was going to say that there have been some good key wins in Seattle.
The last time the LA Galaxy played in Seattle, 5-0 loss.
Let's not talk about that.
I was going to say, it is what it is. Here we go. Let's put some positive spin on this. Let's change around the streaks. That way it sounds like the LA Galaxy are the much better team. Unbeaten in the last 3 compared to Seattle's 2 wins in their last 7 games. I mean, come on.
When you say it like that.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. That's how it works. The leading scorer for Seattle, Raul Rui Diaz, with 10 goals. Nicolas Ladero has 11 assists, and really the two best players are Ladero and Rui Diaz in my mind. Stephen Fry, obviously a very good goalkeeper as well. 7 shutouts, 84 saves, 123 shots faced. David Bingham with the most saves in Major League Soccer, which is not something you should be proud of. 116 saves, 156 shots faced. Game time, again, 3:30 p.m. If you're looking for Seattle, by the way, they average 1.9 goals at home, and they concede 1.2 goals. Okay? If you're looking at the LA Galaxy on the road, they average 1.1 goals on the road, and they concede 1.8 goals.
I feel like that the goals for would have been higher. That seems low to me.
On the road.
On the road, yeah.
It's on the road.
I feel like
it's different if you're at home.
Yeah.
But the Galaxy have not been great on the road. They're not horrible either.
That's what I'm saying. A little bit better than 1.1. We'll see.
4-7-2, like we said, 14 points. The LA Galaxy, I always have to put on my little chart here, I always have best player. So just in case you want to know, the LA Galaxy's best player right now, Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
You sure?
I have said Jonathan Dos Santos for a long time.
Are you off that kick?
And it's hard. He's got 22 goals. I sound like an idiot if I keep saying it's Jonathan Dos Santos. I still think that he's the bellwether for the Galaxy as he plays the Galaxy play.
I understand the sentiment, and you can say he plays an important role. He is not the most valuable and best player on this team.
Fine, Eric. Fine. The LA Galaxy have obviously a big game coming up on Sunday. This is, I think, one of their hardest games of this final, and MLS can, go take a flying walk off of a short pier. I said it. That's not even what it means. That's not a real saying, but I said it.
You cleaned it up for the family show and
but
lost all of its meaning.
Yeah, exactly. I said it. They're in fifth place or they're saying they have the fifth hardest schedule, and my eyes don't tell me that. I can see the LA Galaxy winning out. They won't.
Yeah. Like you said, you list all the games, and it sounds like that should be 18 points, but 18 points isn't going to happen.
Yeah. People, by the way, are asking for my intro to the Seattle game.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
That's fair? You think it's fair?
Like I said, I mailed that one in. That one was for me. It wasn't really for the people.
But, I mean, I at least give you a chance to, know that you're going to do one all the time. And now they want me to do one.
All right. See, you know what it is?
The LA Galaxy will travel to Seattle to take on the Seattle Sounders coming up on Sunday at 3:30 p.m. The LA Galaxy, of course, unbeaten in the last 3, and then Seattle Sounders just 2 wins in their last 7 games. It's Zlatan Ibrahimovic versus a much smaller, much weaker Seattle Sounders team. And before you know it, this Sunday, it's Zlatan running all over the Seattle Sounders. That wasn't great. I mean,
it's better than mine. It was good.
It had enthusiasm is what it had. I don't know that it was
like
better.
I said, I've been dominant all season. I needed to give you a glimmer of hope here. Let you sneak into the playoff race.
I mean, this is what we'll do. So I know you're not going to be here next week, and we'll figure out who's going to be your replacement. But when you come back in next time, I will write mine, you will write yours, and we'll have it out.
All right.
I mean,
I'm good with that.
I am the guy who once did a 7.5 minute intro for an MLS Cup game.
I'm going to stand by my Eric Cantona speech.
Yeah,
that was good stuff. Maybe it didn't have the pepper that it usually does, but I stand by it.
We're going to battle. It's going to be a battle of the intros, I guess. The battle of the intros. Can we get a graphic for that? Graphics team.
Yeah.
Graphics team.
Get on that.
I like how we pretended there were other people doing this. So yeah, we'll work on it.
All right.
I mean, I need a little work. So
you want 538?
538. Hit me with those sweet stats that they had. LAFC 78% chance winners and only a 12% chance to tie, and an 8% chance for the LA Galaxy. The Galaxy almost pulled off the 8%. I think we said it. Bet the money on that game. That was it.
It would have
been
a
underdog.
You would have lost.
You would have lost, but you know.
You would have looked good doing it. So Seattle is a 55% chance favorite to win the game. The Galaxy 24% chance to win, and then a 21% chance for a tie, which I think that seems like a likely outcome. The one glimmer of hope is last week Seattle was favored as 25%, and they ended up winning the game. So the Galaxy, if they flip it on them, being favored 24%, they could come out with the win. I think a tie is something we could possibly see here.
So the Galaxy, let me get this straight. The Galaxy draw like one game all season, and then now they're going to run off 3 in a row.
They're going to have a draw streak right now.
It's not the worst. I actually did a little bit of math. I was like, hey, 7 games, 7 points. Is that enough to get the LA Galaxy? No, I don't think it is. Not in this Western Conference.
No, 7 points will not be enough over the next 7 games. That's for sure.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. All right. So your prediction then, and go ahead and say draw. Just live on that fence. Just be like, I don't know.
I was going to say, the odds say that a draw would be likely, but that's not where I'm going to go. I'm going to go with a 3-1 LA Galaxy win.
Wow, a dominant win on the road?
Dominant win on the road. They're peaking at the right time. This is where we get to say they're going to peak at the right time and run off 18 points here on the home stretch.
Here is the basics in my mind. The LA Galaxy have Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
Yeah.
Seattle does not have Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
I like your math on that.
Okay.
You weigh them on the scale.
There's nobody who is an equal on the Seattle Sounders. You could say Rui Diaz. He has 10 goals, but he's not. I mean, he's not particularly quick. He likes to flop around and roll, much as Antuna does. So it's one of those. I think, in my mind, that if the Zlatan effect is the Zlatan effect, and if he can get up for this game, and again, it's on turf. People are saying, "Oh, I don't think he's going to play." He's playing.
Yeah. Well, you look at the Minnesota game last year. He got up for that game. It was on turf. They announced that it was going to be a sellout. I would imagine that Seattle probably sold more tickets to this game than previously.
Right.
He's going to give the people a show. So I could picture him getting another 2-goal performance.
Interesting thing Daniel brings up. He says no polenta, correct? Because of yellow cards. Guess what? On the Fox broadcast, they thought the yellow card was given to Diego Plenty. It was for Gonzalez. Gonzalez was not on yellow card watch.
Yes.
So it didn't matter. Despite the fact the LA Galaxy got 5 ridiculous yellow cards, and you should listen to, if you don't listen to the Monday show normally, you need to listen to it for that discussion about Alan Chapman, about Zlatan Ibrahimovic, about the yellow cards, because
I'm gonna say don't listen to it because it just makes you upset.
I'm 100%. I feel 100% correct on this.
Yeah, you are.
That was a bad choice by MLS and Pro, and I'll say it again. But go listen to that Monday show for that reason. I get pretty hyped up about it.
He's angry, folks.
It's because you don't need to do it. Anyway,
it was a disservice. It was a disservice to both teams.
But despite the fact the LA Galaxy got 5 yellow cards, none of those came to anybody who was on yellow card watch. So everybody should be available. Now, I will get the show notes on this, I think, on Saturday, or the game notes on this on Saturday, and I will find out if anybody has been removed from the yellow card watch because of a game, playing 5 consecutive games without a yellow card, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, time off for good behavior.
Yeah. So we'll take that and look as well. Listen, this game is going to be ugly. It's not going to be clean, so I will say the LA Galaxy win this game 2-1 because I think that's a fair result for the LA Galaxy. But the big deal here is that it's going to look ugly because it's on that crappy turf.
Yeah, and it's football season now. I don't know that they do anything different, but football lines.
They're going to play Quidditch on this field beforehand and trash it all up. That's a throwback.
Yeah.
People, I'll never forget that Quidditch ruined a perfectly good turf field in Seattle. Was it a playoff game? I don't know. It was a big game of some sort.
It was very Seattle.
It was very Seattle indeed. Anyway, so that's what I have. I have the LA Galaxy winning this game. I think this game is very, very important. We talked about the playoff run already starting. I think that now you're talking about this is cements. The LA Galaxy get 3 points here. They jump Seattle. They possibly jump into second place. Actually, they should jump into second place.
Like you said, this is a 6-point game.
Yep.
Because of where Seattle sits in the standings. It could be a 6-point game. So it's could be a huge result if they manage to get 3 points out of this.
I'm trying to think of all the things that are going to go wrong. Like I'm trying to say, like,
turf.
what can I see? It's
turf.
turf.
Turf is where it will go wrong. It will be bad bounces. Someone stepping wrong, a player having to be subbed early. I'm putting it out in the world so it doesn't happen. Reverse jinx.
The good news is that Zlatan says, and he's right, that the stadium at Banc of California is too small for him. So this is a larger stadium.
Bigger stadium. There you go. It's covered with tarps, but still. But still.
Yeah, but still, Zlatan. Remember, you can win a trip to go see Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Just $10. Am I getting any money for any of this stuff? I feel like all we do is plug things.
I had a pretty good Starbucks ad too. I don't think we're going to get anything from.
Oh yeah, I know. That's anybody who wants to reach out for whatever. I don't care anymore. All right. Anything else you want to get to?
No, I think we're good.
Yeah, we had talked a lot. It's a long show. People have already tuned out and gone to sleep anyway. All right.
They definitely did after the intro.
I do have one more thing. I almost forgot. All right, let's get to this real quick. We have a new T-shirt that's out there right now. There we go. They already turned it off. But anyway, new T-shirt out there. This is the We Won It 5 Times or the 5-time winner T-shirt, however you want to look at it. But you can remind your friends, you can remind your family, 1, how many cups the LA Galaxy have, and 2,
when they win them.
Yep, that. I mean, it's obvious. You look at it and you can see it. It's a picture.
People are listening.
Yes,
I'm helping.
They click on it. Just click on the link at the top of the podcast and you'll be taken to this. Again, $22 right now gets that shirt. I had one complaint that they were too expensive. I'll tell you right now that that my cost on these, maybe I make $4 or $5 per shirt. It's not a ton of money. But if you guys support it, then that money goes directly here to the podcast. So we sell enough. Everything.
We're not buying mink coats over here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're traveling to the stadium in a helicopter.
And while you're at the shop there, for an extra $1, get a Portuguese hammer sticker.
Portuguese hammer.
They're back in stock.
That's right. I have to update the stock numbers whenever we get done with this as well. But anyway, order that by September 18th, and I think everything ships on September 26th, so you'll have it, really right at the end of the season. Yeah, absolutely. So head on over to cornerthegalaxy.com, click on the shop button, and you'll find all of our stuff there. Like you said, hammer stickers, Corner of the Galaxy stickers, buttons, T-shirts. All our other T-shirts are still up there as well. But this is our new one. I really want your focus on this one. All this money goes to help keeping the podcast lights on, helps the microphone staying hot, sometimes even working. You never know. It happens.
For one of us.
I purposely do that to yours. Nobody needs to hear you that loud. So anyway, and get this shirt before the LA Galaxy win their 6th MLS Cup.
Be a collector's item.
It'll be a collector's item.
Yeah.
You can be like, remember back in the day, whenever that happened?
This shirt is outdated.
This shirt is outdated. I bought this shirt and it's already got, but you'll want that. You'll be
Yeah.
like, I remember this. And then you can, sleep in it or give it to your husband to sleep in.
Or your wife to sleep. Jeez.
I did it again.
Jeez,
I did it
Mr.
again.
Guesman.
Wow.
Shame on you.
I tried. Your significant other to sleep in.
There you go.
You can give it to your kids to sleep in. Okay? Is that okay? Put it on
Say-
your dog.
give
I
it-
don't care. Just buy the shirt.
Dog shirts.
$22, cornerthegalaxy.com.
5 cups. 1 shirt, 5 cups.
Not watching that video. Not going to do it. All right. I think that probably about does it. So, Mr. Portuguese Hammer, because you deserve that. Tell people where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter at GISHammer. You could also hear me on the Guys in Shorts podcast. And so you can find them at Guys in Shorts Pod. And of course, you can follow me on Instagram to see all your Galaxy player social media news. And that's at Galaxy Profile. That's Galaxy PROFOUL.
All right. If you're looking for me on Twitter, it's at Guesman, JGUESMAN, and of course at Galaxy Podcast. Head on over to cornerthegalaxy.com where you can get that awesome looking shirt for just $22. Or you can find the Hammer stickers or all sorts of fun stuff going on there. Lots of stuff for sale in the shop. So make sure you get there and check it out. All right, cornerthegalaxy.com. All those proceeds go to help this podcast continue. All right, I think that about does it for Mr. Eric the Portuguese Hammer. I'm Josh Pato Guesman, and you've been listening to Corner of the Galaxy on cornerthegalaxy.com. Everybody have a great holiday weekend. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to the Corner of the Galaxy podcast on cornerofthegalaxy.com. You can follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Galaxy Podcast, and be sure to check out and subscribe to iTunes, Stitcher, and Facebook by searching for Corner of the Galaxy. And for all of your independent LA Galaxy news, discussion, and entertainment, including this podcast, head on over to cornerofthegalaxy.com. Fans, thanks for listening. We ask that you be kind and courteous to your neighbors as you leave the podcast. We thank you for joining us and look forward to seeing you again. Until then, I'm Michael Araujo, and on behalf of the entire Corner of the Galaxy crew, goodbye, everybody.